YT. Today I want to talk about a strange ascension symptom that no one ever talks about. Okay, and I went through this in my awakening, and it really freaked me out because I couldn't find anyone talking about it at all. So this is an ascension symptom that you won't hear very often, but I have heard of others having this issue. People just don't really talk about it. So it may be that it only happens to a certain group of ones who have awakened. I know there's different soul tribes and groups and different jobs that we have and different things we're supposed to be doing. So that may have something to do with it. But here's what it is. When I first started my awakening, and this is what really triggered me to go deep and look into what was happening to me, because you can explain away some things. You can explain away headaches, you can explain away dizziness, you can explain away a lot of the ascension symptoms, the common ones. But this one I couldn't explain away. I was having a hard time with the English language. So, what I mean was, I forgot how to form sentences properly. I forgot what words meant. I couldn't find the words, ever. I would always be like, what's that word, and I always felt like I could never get my point across what I was trying to say. And it really affected me. I thought I was losing it. I thought I was like having some sort of super young pre-Alzheimer's or something. And this was in 2012. And I mean, I couldn't find anything on it. But it did bring me to all the other ascension symptoms and help me actually figure out what was going on. But this symptom no one talks about. So this is actually happening to me again now. And I think it's because I'm getting different upgrades. So as you level up in your ascension process or in your spiritual awakening, you'll notice and you'll begin to learn the phases that you're going through based on your symptoms. Sometimes we're integrating new downloads and getting upgrades, and sometimes our energy will be very high, and sometimes we're receiving a lot of energy, and then sometimes we're so exhausted because now it's time to integrate, and then now it's time to for your body to figure out what's actually happening. So as you ascend, your body has to change with your mental and spiritual emotional state. So as you ascend to higher vibration, your body has to kind of catch up. And so it took me probably months for my vocabulary to change, and so that I could actually kind of communicate better. But I forgot stuff all the time. Words, what they meant, how to spell them. I would forget all the time. I just couldn't ever find the words. It was like someone took all my words. It's really hard to explain, but if you've been through it, then you know. It's definitely a symptom. And I think what's happening here is when you're integrating new light codes, new downloads, new upgrades, whatever you want to call them, you're ascending to such a higher place vibrationally, where the English language, or any language really, human language, becomes very minuscule to you. I mean, you really, depending on your job, you could go all day and hardly speak to anyone, right? And when you think about universal language or light language, if you don't know what that is, Google it. When you think about these higher vibrational languages, the sound really doesn't matter. I mean, the sound can carry different transmissions and things like that give you upgrades, activations. But what I'm saying is the way that it sounds to you, the actual words, if you want to call it that, it doesn't really matter. It's how it feels to you. You can hear it and not know what they're saying and not know what it means in here when it hits your brain, but you know what it means in here. So what I think is happening is, as you upgrade or as you reach higher ascension levels, and it would have to be in a stage where you're hit with like a bunch of light codes or upgrades or downloads at once, because to be able to integrate that and kind of lose your human languages, I'm feeling like that's a large frequency at one time, and it's abrupt. So that would have to be pretty big for that to happen. And I am curious as to whether there is a certain group I would like to figure that out. If you've had this issue, please comment below, because I would like to figure out the commonalities that we have, in case it is a select group that has gone through this, because I don't hear it talked about often. But it is important to talk about, because I know some people are going through it, and more people will continue to awaken. So my point is, I think what happens is, when you're integrating very, very high frequencies, and your perspective has changed so much and broadened so much, your spirit and your mind and your concepts, your perception is so much different now. To be able to form words and put this huge, large meaning and interpretation into something so very limited and small as a human language becomes very difficult. So eventually I got my words back, sort of. I'm still not great at forming sentences. Sometimes I'll start a sentence with the ending. Some languages are like that. It just depends how it's interpreted, I guess, but not in English. So I will say something with the ending, and then I'll try to have to fix a sentence and formulate the end of the sentence so that people know what I'm talking about, to explain what I was talking about. It's like I jump to the ending and then I have to explain the rest. I wanted to talk about this symptom because no one talks about it, and I feel like maybe it is rare. If you've experienced it, please comment below. People do need to know about it, because it makes you feel crazy, along with all the other symptoms, you know. But when you lose your language or your vocabulary, you can't form sentences, it freaks you out. So that was it. If you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe if you want to see more like this. I talk about ascension, spirituality. I do tarot readings, energy shifts, updates, things like that. So please come along this journey with me, and I'll see you next time.